Bequeath the bing bong teeth, y'all. It's Slow Boon Slang coming at you with another DMZ guide. Okay, I am going to be walking you through Irradiated Waters here today, which is a Tier 5 Redacted mission. This one is a little bit tricky just because it's in the Koshi complex and you got to get something out, so you do have a chance of getting smashed and killed, murder fucked a little bit, so it's a little brutal. Make sure that you go in there with a good AR, maybe a good F-Tac, right, pistol, just because that thing rips people apart right now, or the KV broadside. That's a nasty one too. So first thing you're going to need to do here for the objectives is enter the Koshi complex with a Geiger counter, which I'm kind of showing you here. I had done one of the nuclear materials contracts, right? So I went in there with a Geiger counter, as well as the 2 nuclear fuel rods inside of my secure backpack. And I'm going to get into an exploit here on how you can kind of skate this and get, 2 nuclear fuel rods real quick off the bat, and then get that to count. This is the area that you want to enter from, though. This under the bridge here near Chirac Village. This is where you want to go in from to the Koshi complex. This gets you into that flooded barracks, and that's where you need to do the second objective here. So the second objective is to find 4 nuclear fuel rods in the flooded barracks, right? And then the final objective is to extract the 4 fuel rods in 1 deployment. So it's a pretty straightforward mission. This is me getting into the Koshi complex now from that area, and you'll see where you have to enter and what you need to do. Now, one recommendation I have for you here is bring in at least 1 rebreather, because it'll help in this area when you're looking for these different nuclear fuel rods. But the exploit that you're able to do, right, is basically you can come in with a secure backpack to this area, and those nuclear fuel rods, after you have done that nuclear materials contract, and then drop them out of your backpack to yourself and pick them up again, and they will count as 2 of the nuclear fuel rods that you need, right? So you can just drop them a couple times and pick them up, and they will complete that second objective for you. Find the 4 nuclear fuel rods. It'll complete it, right? You see me drop 3 of them right here. By the way, that is the first location where I'm picking these up right now. That's the first location for the first fuel rod, right? And then I pick them up again, and it counts multiple times for those nuclear fuel rods, which is super, super simple, right? So that gets it done very quickly. Now, across from me, over that direction across in the other room, is actually where you find the next nuclear fuel rod. It is on one of the tables, right? But I do recommend for the exploit going in with a secure backpack so that you can have those 2 nuclear fuel rods from that contract, and basically all you got to do after that is find 2 more nuclear fuel rods. Super easy at that point. Here's the 3rd nuclear fuel rod, right? This is actually on, or actually, I'm sorry, this was the first one. Again, this is another clip of that first one. And where to find it. I had 2 clips in here, but right across from this room on the right is where you find the next nuclear fuel rod. And then this area you will come up to in that flooded barracks. It's got traps in it, so I'm showing you kind of how to disarm these traps real quickly because they're a little bit tricky. You hit them, you go down immediately. Doesn't matter what kind of vest you have on. So let's get into recommendations. Recommendations, rebreather, like I said before. A 3-plate vest, probably a medic vest or a comms vest in my opinion, just because the comms vest is super useful in Koshi for figuring out where teams are at, and then the medic vest is great for getting your squad up. Now, as you can see, I was doing this solo. I did the whole thing solo, so it is possible to solo, but it's tough because there's other teams in here. Now you're going to drop down from that trap area into the second water area, and this is where the last 2 nuclear fuel rods are located, right? But keep in mind, you do want to finish that nuclear materials mission, right, with your secure backpack to get those 2 fuel rods out initially. That'll help you, right, get this done and get you the exploit real quickly, right? Now that you have 2 of those, right, let's find the last 2 that you need, which are in this area. Now, if you find the first 2 that I showed already, right, the first one that's on the left door when you first enter the complex, and then the next one that's on the right door after you enter the complex in the flooded barracks, then you're good to go. You'll have all 4, right, after completing your nuclear contract. So it's pretty simple if you do it that way with the secure backpack, but if you need to find all 4, I've shown you kind of here where you can find them. So this is that second flooded area that you have to drop down into, right? And basically, I'm just going to show you where you can find the final 2 nuclear fuel rods so that you can extract if you're already in here and you don't have the secure backpack, right? But I do recommend highly going in with that. The secure backpack is so so useful for a lot of these missions, guys. It's a boodle hat on a Mickaboo. You know what I'm saying? All right, so you're basically going to swim kind of back to the start right where you drop down in that second area, and it's just on the right. So after you drop down, it's just on the right. It's the first door you come to, and there's the first nuclear fuel rod in this area, right? That'll be the third one overall. Just make sure you're grabbing air. As you can see, I didn't have a rebreather, and that's why I recommend it, right? Because you really need a lot of air to get to this final nuclear fuel rod. It's down through that doorway, through that second doorway after you get the third nuclear fuel rod, which is in that second area, right? And I barely get out of here to get air. But yeah, that is the final one. It's in one of those little office areas, and then you can swim back down here and go up the corridor, which is basically on the left from where you drop down. Actually, I'm sorry, it's all the way down the hallway on the right. That's where it is. So after you do that, you can swim up the corridor, you can get back into the second area, which is the night vision area here in Koshi Complex, and then you just need to exfil with those 4 nuclear fuel rods, right? So I'm just going to show you that I'm exfilling out with all 4, and that is how you complete the mission. It's a little bit tricky just because you do have to get out with them in one deployment, but again, it makes it so much easier having that secure backpack and doing the exploit that I've done here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hey, really appreciate all the support, guys. 3,000 subscribers. You guys are killing it. This is fantastic. Keep telling your friends about it. Let's keep this thing rolling. Again, thanks so much, guys, for all the support. Spack do on the Mickle Dang. Slow Boon Slang out. Have a great one, guys.